It's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, allegations of bribery and corruption rocks Appointments Committee of Parliament. An ongoing vetting of ministerial nominees, raising concerns about the image of the committee and the quality of his work. Well, we unpack all the thorny issues surrounding this particular issue and how things are playing out right now. And in fact, this came to light earlier today when the chair of the Appointments Committee, the first deputy speaker of this 9th Parliament, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, made it quite clear that they're inviting private legal practitioner Oliver Bakavomao before the committee tomorrow to answer specific questions about that allegation that he put out on social media. But first of all, let's take a listen to Bernard Ahiafo on this particular matter earlier today at the Appointments Committee sitting.
That I am ever ready to submit myself to oral. The second aspect was to the effect that all the committee members are taking money from the nominees before vetting and approval. This morning, instead of starting vetting at least by 10 o'clock, we recall into a conclave to deliberate on this issue. We need to stop certain attitude. So therefore, I, Bernard Ahiafo, first Deputy Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, and the chairman of the vetting committee, wants to place it on record that myself and the committee members do not demand money from any nominee before vetting and approval. I will therefore direct the clerk of the committee to invite Oliver Baker Vomao to appear before the committee tomorrow at 10 before noon to provide evidence of Bernard Ahiafo, the chairman of the vetting committee, or any member of the vetting committee, to back his claim that we demand money from the nominees before vetting and approval. Clerk of the committee, I so direct.
Well, that's the chair of the Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafo, there. And then also we'll hear from some of the members of the committee on specifically their reactions to this allegation by Oliver Bakavomao. But take a look at this. This is what Oliver Bakavomao put on his Facebook page. He says he's ready for this appearance for the Appointments Committee. They said, this is how a democracy improves. I look forward to appearing before the Appointments Committee tomorrow. Thank you. And we got a caption on his original page on Facebook. Let's flip that right now. And we'll show that to you. And this is exactly, so he's indicated his preparedness to appear before the Appointments Committee tomorrow. And rightly so, we got a statement from Parliament's Appointments Committee not too long ago. In fact, just a couple of hours ago, the Appointments Committee has issued a statement to this effect on the invitation of Oliver Bakavomao. I'm going to show you the exact allegation that he made or he put out there, which has then led to this invitation by the Appointments Committee of Parliament. But this is it. This is the statement from Parliament, which we got a copy of not too long ago, indicating the invitation to the private legal practitioner Oliver Bakavomao. Says in the invitation to appear before the Appointments Committee, says the attention of the committee has been drawn to some Facebook post made on the 24th of January 2025 at 9:25 p.m. And this is what they are making reference to, not too visible, but essentially making the point that they are inviting Oliver Bakavomao to appear before the Appointments Committee of Parliament to answer a number of questions related to his Facebook post on the matter in question right now, with specific reference to the allegation made against the members of the Appointments Committee. And obviously, as we monitored, the committee members did not take it lightly and have indicated their decision to have him appear before the Appointments Committee of Parliament. So that's what we do know right now on this matter. And this statement, you'll find the full scale of it on 3news.com. But this is what Alexander Penyomarking, who is also the ranking on this Appointments Committee, said, and the minority leader made this comment about this said allegation. Take a look.
That it is not about the minority opposed to a vetting. It is about the matter in issue. We know, and it is a notorious fact, that Mr. Vamawo is a member of the NDC fraternity. And this is coming from him against the NDC members on this committee, with its vicarious effect on the entire members of this committee. So raising, yes, what it means is that you have done something, as he claims, but we share in that liability with you as the minority caucus. It is in that spirit that we say that let this matter be properly resolved for all of us to have a way forward.
Well, so the resolution of this matter is what led to the invitation that I showed you some minutes ago. But this is the issue at play. The reason why you've seen Alexander Penyomarking and the chair of the committee all pointing to Oliver Baka-Vomawa. Take a look at this. It's what they put on this Facebook page. Quote, so all this specific allegation which was published and referenced by the Appointments Committee. So all the monies the ministerial appointees are being asked to pay to the Appointments Committee just to get approved, are those ones not affected by Operation Recover or Loot? That's oral. That's the question that he asked. Strange Republic. This is the post that then got the attention of the Appointments Committee, and the reason why Oliver Baka-Vomawa has been invited to appear before the committee at 10 a.m. We understand at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll be there to bring you a live coverage of how things will play out. But let's have a conversation on this, shall we? Dr. Rashid Draman is Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. He's joining us on Zoom. Rashid Draman, appreciate your time here on Ghana Tonight. Now, this is not the first time an Appointments Committee of Parliament has been accused of allegedly being bribed or some members receiving bribes. We've heard this in the past a number of times. Is it that the committee itself lends itself to such allegations or public perceptions, or it is the public misunderstanding how the committee works, reason why some of these things come up?
Alfred, the bribery allegations are not new. I think that was in the 7th Parliament. The case of Honorable Boacha Jaku and all the controversies around the fact that, some people took money and so on. I think that was an opportunity for Parliament at that time to clear his name and put, if there was any thing like that happening, to put a very big stop to it. We didn't see very much of it, and now this issue has resurfaced. We don't know what evidence the lawyer has. And if you hear him, I mean, he's looking very much forward to meeting the committee, which seems to suggest that he has some evidence. This I believe now is an opportunity for Parliament to make sure that they come clean about this, because again, besides the issues in the 7th Parliament, if you remember in the 8th Parliament, we heard stories about how people were raising questions. Why did the NDC caucus raise a lot of issues about some nominees? Yet in the end, they joined their colleagues to approve these nominees, i.e. Honorable Ken Oforiatta, Howard Kumsin, Honorable, and then many others. People have been murmuring, and there are talks, I mean, sometimes in silence about, some things that are going on in the committee that are not right. This is an opportunity now, particularly given the trust that Ghanaians have handed over to the NDC and the caucus, to make sure that things are put right. The Honorable Mama Erga leading the caucus, his colleague on the other side, the Right Honorable Speaker, I think they have a duty and responsibility, including the chair of the committee, of course. I mean, if he's implicated, perhaps it might not be appropriate for him to be part of that conversation. But whatever it is, I believe we need to have a parliament that we can trust. Already people are raising questions about, is this whole vetting, is it just a process to tick the box, or really is an effort to ensure that the people we are giving the power and mandate and resources are people who are accountable. So if you join that to what is happening today, I believe there is an urgent need for the legislature to really work hard to gain the trust of the Ghanaian people. And the only way they can do this is to make sure that if there's any wrongdoing, I think those who are responsible should be made to at least answer for it.
Well, we'll see how tomorrow plays out. But you talk about if there are any of the members allegedly responsible or anything happening, as to how that would be done, and an investigation or not. But you see, tomorrow, by close of day today, that's tomorrow, we'll get to see how things will play out. But also, I put a freeze on this matter, awaiting Oliver Bakavomawa's appearance before the Appointments Committee tomorrow. There's another issue as well that has gotten the public talking, and that's the exercise of discretion by the Appointments Committee as to the number of hours they spend on one nominee as against the short period they spend on another. I want us to take a look at Nelson Roxon Dafia-McPaul's outburst, not too happy about the almost 6 hours vetting of Dr. Edward Omane-Boamah, the Defense Minister designate. Take a look.
Chairman, let me seek your guide in this matter. Chairman, with all due respect, leader may have an unlimited opportunity to ask questions, but I'm so concerned as the majority chief whip, who is the vanguard of government business. The ranking member cannot take 3 hours to ask his questions. So if he says that he will continue tomorrow, we have to go back and come back tomorrow. There must be a limit to what he's doing. In any case, we have 4 other nominees who are waiting. So as the government chief whip, I am so concerned about the procedure it's adopting.
So we saw what happened, 6 hours. So we've seen previous instances where, in fact, the minority members on this committee reference the former finance minister, Kenneth Oriatta's vetting. That also lasted for about 2 days or so. And then today we witnessed the shortest vetting ever. That's the Greater Accra Regional Minister nominee. And let's take a look at that.
Honorable Minister nominee, you will surely hear from the committee. You are hereby discharged.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Please.
That's Linda Oklu there, the Greater Accra Regional Minister designate. Within minutes. In fact, the members of the committee, Dr. Rashid Rahman, did not ask her any question. They just, asked her to introduce herself, and then that was it. Now, does the exercise of discretion by the committee concern you sometimes, as to, for instance, the number of hours or the time they spend on nominees?
Sometimes it's quite worrying. You see, they have some traditions in the House, as one nominee told me, because I raised the same question. And so, for instance, why some nominees spend more time than others, and why some are treated with kids' gloves, if you like, despite all the challenges. And the answer was that they have some traditions, and i.e. some leaders of the House, once they are appointed, usually, they are treated with a lot of deference and so on. I have some problems with that, because probing into the issues of the sector and asking nominees questions sometimes it's not an effort to embarrass the nominees. In fact, to the contrary, some of the questions can end up bringing the best out of the nominees. For instance, what we saw from some NDC members asking the Honorable Minister Designate for Interior, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. There were a number of questions from the NDC side that brought out the best out of the nominee. But for members to show up and then, they are not asked any question is as if to suggest that there are no issues in the sector that they are going through. And that raises a question about, the age-old arguments that some of us have been making, that why don't we adopt the practice where specific sector committees, have a conversation with the people who are going to do sectors? Then, rather than, if you like, some of the drama and confrontation that we see or lack of questions that we see, there will be a very sober conversation between the nominees and the committees of, that oversee those particular sectors on key policy issues, on challenges, and how those nominees are going to address those challenges, or what is it that they are going to do differently, and so on. But when you have a committee that is charged to deal with A to Z, as in the kind of committee that we have now, even if you have members from the sector committees joining them, it doesn't really cut it very well. Then to add to it, all the drama that we see and the walkouts, we've seen a number of walkouts already from very senior members of the committee. All these do not augur well, and I think do not send a very good signal, not only to the MPP, which is supposed to be the if you like,
minority,
the group that we are all going to rely upon to hold the government to account. But it also sends a bad signal to the NDC that they are, what is happening now is about to suggest to all of us that what we are going to see in the 9th Parliament.
Well,
we don't want.
certainly want things playing out that way. Dr. Rashid Rahman, thank you very much, as Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. And indeed, with all the issues in the Greater Accra region, would have expected that at least some questions are put to the nominee in there, but that didn't happen. But that leads us to the next